Hi, good evening. Welcome, Rabbi Friedman. So excited to be here to talk about the course that's coming up next week, the Marriage and Intimacy course. I'm really honored and privileged to be able to be moderating the course with you. My name is Rivki Katz. Hi, everybody. And Rabbi Friedman, this is an honor. So tonight we want to talk about the course that's going to be happening next week and make sure everyone knows how exciting. And this is something nobody should miss. We're really looking forward. So, Rabbi Friedman, you want to tell us what's happening next week?
Well, you just told me a very interesting little incident. Can you repeat that for the people? You were giving a course or a class?
So, a little taste of what we hope to accomplish through next week's course is something that just happened from one class last night. I gave a class based on your classes, on what I've learned from your classes on marriage, and the best goal that I wanted from the class happened, where a woman said to me, I feel like a new woman today. Last night was so inspiring. Thank you so much. I feel more motherly and more feminine, and just inspired to be the best wife and mom I can be. And not only inspired, I feel renewed strength.
That's it. Home run. That is the objective, because there's a desperation, a crisis. We're trying to make our marriages work. We need our marriages to work. Families have to be healthy if there's going to be a healthy society, if we're going to have a healthy life. And whatever can help is awesome. And if you can do that much good, it's life-saving, not just life-changing. Because when the marriage is not good, life is not good. Not for the husband, not for the wife, not for the children, maybe not even for the neighbors. So this is really not a luxury, not an if you please. This is necessary. We must get it right. We must get it deeper, more meaningful, more lasting, more satisfying relationship, or we're in trouble. No two ways about it. Not being married is not really a good option. Being married and unhappy is a worse option. Married and wanting to get out is torture. No, we got to get this thing fixed. And we can, because there's nothing wrong with marriage if you do it. If you just move in together and then complain it's not working, well, because you're not married. Don't call it a bad marriage. It's a non-marriage. Like very often in marriage counseling, the couple voice their complaints, sometimes in quite nasty terms, and then say, so should we get divorced? And I'm thinking, maybe you should get married. In fact, you can't get divorced because you're not married. You never met each other. You never really touched each other. You're living side by side, enjoying some of the benefits, but you're not really married. Of course, halachically you're married, legally you're married, but you're not doing it. You're not having a marriage relationship. So what's missing? How is it possible to be married and feel alone in the world? I'm all on my own? That can't happen. Mustn't. Marriage can't be that shallow. that you are in fact married to somebody and yet feel alone in the world. Something seriously missing here. So no wonder it's not working. It's not the real thing. There's that famous joke, I don't remember all the details, but this very poor guy gets invited to a rich man's house. And there's one particular dish that they serve that he thinks is absolutely delicious. So he begs the hostess to give him the recipe. She writes down the recipe and he takes it home. But of course, he doesn't have half those ingredients. He's poor. So instead of oil, he uses vinegar. Instead of eggs, he uses squash. Instead of one thing, he uses another thing. And then they cook it all up, and he tastes it, and his wife says, "This is what you loved so much? Rich people have a funny taste in food." Yeah. If you put in all the wrong ingredients, then don't complain about the dish. It's not what the recipe calls for. So you can't mess with marriage and then complain that marriage is a failure. And yet that's the impression we get. The statistics are not encouraging, right? The divorce rate, the domestic unhappiness, not encouraging at all. But that's because we're not using the proper ingredients. Instead of loyalty, we have love. Instead of sanctity, we have fun and games. Instead of intimacy, we have just roommates. So of course it's not going to work. So what are we going to do in this course? What are you foreseeing? What are some of the topics?
Here we are. So in just 3 classes, and then the 4th will be the question answer.
Yeah.
You'll give us a whole new understanding on what marriage is. Because like you say, people are married, but yet never got married. If you've never heard your classes and somebody's listening now, they don't know what that means. What do you mean I'm married, but not married? What is there to know about marriage that we don't know?
Okay. So what is marriage?
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time anybody ever asked that? Marriage has been such a fixture in our lives, we just took it for granted. At a certain age, your mother starts to panic. When you're a certain age, your mother starts to panic and demands that you get married. Isn't that what marriage is? A mother's needs. We've never asked what is marriage. Maybe not in the last 1,000 years. On the one hand, that's pretty impressive. Marriage was so central, it was so essential, that nobody, what is marriage? What are you talking about? You get married. It's just the way it is. It's the way we always heard it should be, so we'll marry. That's nice. Solid tradition, relevant generation after generation after generation without question. That's beautiful. But in our times, we need to know. We need the explanation. We need the insight. We need the inspiration that started thousands of years ago and continued for thousands of years, but can't go on forever without ever talking about it. So we need to re-examine, rediscover, re-explore what exactly is marriage. Because we've gotten a very distorted view, the Hollywood version. That's not good. So yeah, we're going to talk about what exactly is marriage and why the need. Why marry? If you remember that song, love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. If you love somebody, you marry them. No. You love somebody and you love them. You don't marry them. Where is the marriage? Where is the need for it? And if you're marrying for love and you're already in love, then you really don't need it anymore. So we really have to get a little wiser and more informed about marriage itself. The why and the what for. That'll be a good topic. And of course, that's followed with who do you marry? How do you know who to marry? Why do you marry? Who you marry? And it becomes
cover in this course. The first is what is marriage, really understanding what a marriage is, what the male-female giver and receiver relationship is. And the second class, we go already into the practical of understanding what is intimacy and how is intimacy achieved and how is it different than what's happening in bedrooms around the world that's not intimate. How is it possible that in the most intimate spaces, intimacy is not happening?
Yeah, that follows well, because one of the definitions of marriage is this unique, intimate bond that husband and wife can have that no other relationship produces. No matter how close you are with your parents, it's not intimate. Oh, it's warm and it's close and it's deep. Not intimate. With your children, your relationship, not intimate. Again, very strong, powerful. The only relationship in which there is true intimacy is marriage. And not only physical intimacy, but on every level. Husband and wife can become one. You can't be one with your parents. You can't be one with your children. Only husband and wife can become one, which of course we'll talk about. But becoming one means you're no longer alone. Forever. Not even for a moment. And even if you're separated by an ocean, you're not alone. Because there is somebody other than you in your life who is indispensable. Indispensable in the sense that without your spouse, without your husband or wife, you're not who you are. You can't be you without your spouse. You can't be a husband without a wife. And you can't be a wife without a husband. It's the definition of who you are. And who you are is indispensable, is inseparable from your spouse. We are. I'm not. Of course, you have a very strong bond with your parents. They are your immediate creator. You inherit the color of their eye and their personality and their talents and their failings and their shtick. But you're not one with them. That's why you leave your parents' home to be married. Because with parents, you cannot be one. Wouldn't be healthy. Even with your children, you can't be one. Eventually, they have to find their independence and go off and get married themselves. If you're one, you're not giving them that independence. So the only relationship where oneness is not only possible but healthy is a marriage. So the antidote to aloneness is marriage. If that doesn't happen, there can only be one cause. The marriage is functional, it's not intimate. Without the intimacy, you're in close contact with each other, but there's no merging, there's no blending. You remain you, your spouse is your spouse, and you enjoy each other. And that's as good as it gets these days. But that's not good enough. So yeah, we have to talk about what exactly is intimacy and how do you get it? Why is it not present in the average relationship? Sexuality has been severed from intimacy. It used to be that any intimate relationship was sexual, any sexual relationship was intimate. That's why sexuality was so awesome, frightening. Multidimensional. Then in the 60s, it became recreational. Well, that eliminated all the intimacy. Now we're suffering from it. We realize, and this is one of the big surprises in the course, we realize that we don't really need more sex. Because sex is not a real need. It's an appetite, not a need. Intimacy is a need. We're not quite human without intimacy. So we have no choice but to rediscover. Because not nice to fool Mother Nature. And Mother Nature says, not just your mother, but Mother Nature says, you got to get married because that's where you find intimacy.
So exciting and so surprising that it's been lost for so long. Where do you find the answers? How is it that you're able to express and verbalize what's missing in the world? Where was this information hiding?
It hasn't been that long because we can't go that long without intimacy or we'd be completely insane. It's only been 2 or 3 generations. Somehow our great-grandparents found intimacy in their relationships. Doesn't mean that they got along fabulously, but they merged and became inseparable. So no matter how much they disagreed and no matter how much they annoyed each other, not having each other was unthinkable because they really bonded. Today, we insist on getting along, having a lot of fun, having good communication, agreeing on everything, sharing common interests. We just don't need each other. We just need the benefits, but not each other. That's the missing part. That's the intimacy. And that's what leaves us feeling alone. If I'm not really bonded with you, I'm just enjoying the benefits of living with you. That's nice. Still alone. It's just me and against the world. That can't be. That is way too painful and way unnatural. The Torah says it is not good to be alone, and it really isn't. It really isn't. And having a lot of friends and being liked online on the internet, that doesn't count for anything.
So it's amazing that there can be such a big problem and then 1, 2, 3 classes with you and it's back. The intimacy is back. Almost every marriage can find that deepest intimacy that they think is reserved for special couples. No, it's possible with every marriage, almost every marriage, because it's the truth of their marriage. It's just a matter of being able to find what's already there, and enjoy the best part. So this is really, really exciting. I hope that everybody joins and signs up and allows themselves to enter into a whole new reality in their homes. And then the third class is going to be about how finding intimacy between husband and wife affects the children. You want to tell us a little sneak peek about that?
There's this magical, natural bond. Parents and children, children and parents, husband and wife. There's nothing like it. What children will do for their parents when it's good, what children will do to their parents when it's not good. It is scary stuff. It's so powerful. What husband and wife mean to each other when it's really good, how painful it is when it's not good. We're talking about something really otherworldly, superhuman. When children feel completely dispassionate and almost indifferent towards their parents. It's like there is no family bond. There's no bloodline there. They're like strangers. From a very young age, the child just doesn't seem to have any attachment. The parents are no different than the neighbor. That is horrifying. What's causing that? How can you give birth to a child and the child does not feel any family or loyalty or identity? Just a quick example. This teenage girl says, my mother doesn't respect me, so I don't respect her. That's what you say about a neighbor, a friend, where you're equals. So it makes sense. If you respect me, I'll respect you. If you don't, then I don't. But parents? You don't respect your parents unless your parents respect you? Then it's not parents and it's not a child. So talk about being married without intimacy. It results in being someone's child without a relationship. I was born to you, but I have no relationship to you. So if you behave well and if I approve of you and I want you to be my friend, then I'll be your friend. If not, you're nobody to me. That is so scary. And you hear it everywhere. And parents have gotten used to it and have basically thrown in the towel. They're terrified of their kids. So it's very likely that when there is no intimacy between parents, then there is no bond between the children and the parents. So how a child is conceived, with what kind of interchange between parents at the time of conception? What are they sharing? What are they giving each other? What ingredients are they putting into this child that they are producing? If it's the wrong ingredients, you get the wrong results. You're trying to bake bread, stick to the ingredients for bread. Otherwise, you'll end up with cake.
This is more than just how it affects the parents' relationship. You're saying that the intimacy of the parents affects generations. So this is a crucial course that everybody should be a part of.
Absolutely.
So exciting. And it's going to be followed by a fourth class, which is question and answer, where we'll really be able to answer everybody's questions and make sure to give everybody what they're looking for from the course.
And one important condition is this has to be an encouraging course, not a discouraging one. You can't, bring in expectations that are unrealistic, undoable, unattainable. We can't create guilt and regret and blame. That's not the point of any of this. On the contrary, the beauty of it is that marriage can be fantastic, even if it hasn't been until today. It is easier to repair a marriage than to destroy it. So if you were talented enough to destroy the marriage, you're certainly talented enough to fix it. Because going back to nature is easier than distorting nature. And number 3, it's never too late. Never. Not for the couple and not for the children. It's never beyond repair. It's all positive, it's all encouraging, and it's all ennobling. And that is an important word.
So what would be a realistic expectation that somebody can have in joining the course?
What you were hoping for when you were idealistic and getting married, you can have that. Every person describes it differently, sees it a little differently, but that very idealistic notion that you had, and then it turns out that, no, it's not what I thought it would be, I'm disappointed. No, you can have the marriage that you envisioned with all its glory, with all its power, with all its pleasure. It is doable. You just didn't do it. So why wait? Let's do it now. So when exactly are the times and the places?
Okay, so it's starting Monday night.
This Monday.
This Monday, 8 to 9. You go below on YouTube and there's a link to sign up, or go to the website, it's goodtoknow.org, and sign up. And you will not regret it. This is a life-changing course.
So it's Monday night?
Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. We're going to devote next week to changing our life. That's all it takes.
4 consecutive days.
Yes.
And the site again is itsgoodtoknow.org. And that's good to know. So it's goodtoknow.org because it's not only good to know, you have to know. That'll be the other website. Once you get past it's good to know, then you go to it's you gotta know. You gotta know.
And the link is below. So please click on the link, sign up, and meet us Monday night. We'll be back here together. And I am so excited.
Thank you, Rifki.
Thank you. So excited. And I can't wait to hear everybody's questions. So write down your questions already that you have from before the course, and then you'll have new questions once we start the course. It's going to be fun. Thank you, Rabbi Friedman. We're looking forward. Monday night, 8 o'clock.
See you there.
Be well. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.